season ni Baguio starting from December until February. Then here comes summer months. Mataas pa rin naman ang number of tourists na pumupunta during summer months. However, pinakamataas ang peak season nila would be starting from December until the end of Panagbenga, which is February. So that's seasonality. The seasonality of demand is reflected in hotel occupancy rates. Most probably in one hotel, meron silang peak season rate, meron silang lean season rate. Nevertheless, hotels prefer to remain open all year round to secure as much revenue as possible. So kahit lean season yan, kahit mababa pa ang kita mo for those months, mag-o-open pa rin ang hotel. Just to make their presence known all year round. Tour operators also face similar problems. And by the way, tour operators are the ones who are crafting tour packages. And next, overdependence on tourism. Some destinations have made themselves vulnerable to changes in tourist demand by becoming overdependent on tourism and hospitality for their livelihood. So, dahil maganda nga, very promising ang benefits ni tourism, most likely, ang nangyayari, ibang mga provinces, ibang mga places, yun lang ang pinagkakakitaan nila. Ngayon, tourism, though mataas ang benefit or madaming benefit from tourism is very vulnerable to changes, to outside forces. Example, ngayong pandemic, yung mga provinces na ang pinagkakakitaan lang nila ay tourism, talagang naramdaman nila yung effect ng pandemic. Nararamdaman nila yung effect ng recession. Kasi wala silang ibang pagkakakitaan. And tourism, ngayong pandemic, talagang down na down siya. Ngayon lang na medyo nag-i-start na ulit siyang mag-boom. So, those are the 4 negative economic impacts of tourism. Meron naman tayong tinatawag na impact control measure. How do we control or how do we solve yung negative economic impacts of tourism? So, according to Edward Inskip, he is a consultant for the United Nations World Tourism Organization or UNWTO. He has suggested the following. You have to develop tourism and hospitality gradually. So, wag mong bibiglain. Wag yung bigla-biglang paggising na lang ng mga residente, ay, ang dami-dami ng turista o kaya very tourism designed na yung kanilang area. So, you have to develop tourism and hospitality gradually so that local residents can have sufficient time to adapt to it. Kasi meron yung tinatawag nating nire-reject talaga ng mga local residents ang tourism. Kasi nga, nabibigla sila. Hindi sila nagkaroon ng time to adjust and cope up with the changes that is brought about by tourism and hospitality. Another, maintain a scale of tourism and hospitality development that is appropriate for the local as well as national environment. Just like what's happening to Baguio, nagkakaroon ng resentment from locals to tourists. So, nire-resent or parang during Panagbenga, dahil sa influx of tourists, medyo may resentment on the part of the local residents of Baguio. Kasi during Panagbenga, nagkakaroon ng social problem. Kunyari, sa pagsakay pa lang sa jeep, mahaba na ang pila. Sa pagkuha pa lang ng taxi, wala kang makuha kasi sa dami ng turistang nakasakay na ng taxi. Sa pag-ihi sa mall or sa pagpasok sa mall pa lang, pila na. Sa pag-ihi, pila na din. So, nagkakaroon ng resentment from tourists. So, you have to maintain a scale of tourism and hospitality development. Another, there was this issue in Baguio City. Long time issue na to na gusto nilang magpatayo ng casino. However, hanggang ngayon, hindi siya nagmamaterialize. So, casino is actually a tourism development. hindi siya nagmamaterialize because the local residents are rejecting or they are not um, accepting that kind of development. So hanggang ngayon, walang um, big scale casino doon sa Baguio. So involve residents and their spokesmen in planning and decision making. So this is what we call community-based tourism. Apply concepts of tourism development zones. Most probably kung ito yung buong area mo, wag mo namang gawing buong area na to is developed for tourism purposes. Dapat meron kang development zone. Like for example, you divide the whole area into 4. So let's say quadrant 1 and quadrant 2 only will be used specifically for tourism related activities. Quadrant 3 and 4, i-reserve natin yan for the local residents para meron pa ring comfort zone yung mga local residents mo. Next, make certain that residents have easy access to tourist attractions because that's their territory. You have to consider that even though you really want to bring tourists to a certain location or to a certain destination, make sure that that destination is the territory of the local residents, meaning they have the right, they should have an easy access to that facility or to that attraction. Provide incentives to local or ownership, management and operations of hotels and other tourist facilities so that the local residents will be more motivated and encouraged to invest. Kasi mas maganda kapag ang local tourist or ang local residents ang nag-i-invest for tourism and hospitality development. Maiiwasan natin yung remittance of profits. So, nag-i-stay lang sa isang area yung pera. Doon lang umiikot yung pera. Develop strong linkages between tourism and hospitality and other economic activities such as agriculture, fisheries, so yan yung mga other industries. Make sure you have a strong linkage doon. Do not sacrifice one industry just to satisfy tourism and hospitality industry. Another, plan, develop, and organize tourism and hospitality so that no area becomes too congested with tourists and residents can easily use community facilities and services. So, dapat merong tourism development plan na provincial tourism development plan, municipal tourism development plan. And last, train local people to work effectively in all levels of tourism and hospitality, including managerial and technical positions, to reduce number of imported employees and to lessen possible misunderstanding between tourists and local employees. So those are the impact control measures to solve yung mga negative economic impacts of tourism industry. Now let's go to social impacts. One positive social impact would be social change and multicultural understanding. So this is bringing together of diverse people to help them understand one another. So iba kasi yung alam mo na ganyan ang ugali ng mga certain race na yan o yung mga taga-Western people, alam mo. Hindi kasi enough na alam mo lang. Kailangan naiintindihan mo for you to really appreciate it. So, ibig sabihin, pag naiintindihan mo, mas malaki yung chance na ma-appreciate mo yung culture nila and vice versa. The locals appreciate the culture, the norms, and attitude of the foreign people. Vice versa, the foreign people will be able to understand firsthand, but understand the culture of a certain area through firsthand experience. So, subjecting oneself joyfully or sorrowfully to the inconveniences, great or small, which can be difficulty, be avoided. And that is according to Pope Pius the 12th. So, UNWTO considers tourism as an encounter between a person and a destination in its natural setting. Above all, the UNWTO believes it is an exchange or encounter between individual groups of people as well as between social groups. So, first, positive impact of tourism, social change, and multicultural understanding. Another, adaptation to the realities of modern life and improvement of the host country's lifestyle. So the quality of life improves in places where tourism and hospitality is being developed by bringing both the urban infrastructure and population benefits together. So yung mga tourism and hospitality development